All right, all right, all right. Okay, I think we're about ready. I'll finish getting my space ready to go. All right, so in case anybody doesn't know, my name is Derek, and I am the, I don't know, owner, creator, head janitor, or something. I don't know. I sling silicone. Boy, I can tell my brain's not firing on all cylinders today, but hopefully we can get through this without making too many mistakes. And by the way, if you have any questions or anything, drop them in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer them as I go along. There we go. Let's see. By the way, I am experimenting with with a new music player, so let me know how the music is and if it's too loud, too whatever. Okay, so I've got a few custom orders I want to do today. And what I do is I will put the order number on the board so that we can do these and let people watch, as well as, protect their privacy as well. Anyway, so this is order 599. Actually, this is the last three digits of the order number. So if the last three digits of your order number is 599, then this one is for you. Now, this is going to be a Parabolica in 0050 using Little Black Dress, which is this black, and Nightshade, which is this red. All right, so we got a black and red Parabolica we're making. So let's see here. This is going to be a two-color pour, so I'm going to need 2 cups. And let me just scoot that out of the way. Stay in frame here. Okay. And this is going to be marbled. Okay. So this is going to be pretty straightforward. I say that, but I have been known to make mistakes. So that squeeze. Make sure I get all the way down in there. Okay. Get a little spray release on there so that our silicone doesn't stick to the mold. And we'll set that off to the side. Now, my scale is over there, and the camera is over here. So it's going to take me a second to get the silicone together, and then I'll be back in just a second. Okay, sorry about that. My silicone is flowing slow today. Okay, so we got part A and part B here. And we're really just going to mix like crazy. We just want to get part A and part B mixed together. We don't want good, positive mix between the two. Gotta make sure we scrape the bottom and the sides. Okay. Now then, I'm going to section off some of this. Okay. So now we need to get our pigments together. Now this one was Little Black Dress is number 1, and black is at number 2. Now, since we already got our silicone mixed, all we're trying to do at this point is incorporate the pigment. Make sure that it's all mixed together, that we don't have any chunks. Yeah, all I see are bubbles, which is fine because we're getting ready to vacuum that out. Do. And then our second color, I'll make sure I scrape all this down. Now, I actually did make a mistake already because I misread it. Black should have been in this one. But that is fixable. I love this red. Look at that red. So nice. Okay. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to swap this black over to a big cup. And honestly, the only reason this matters is because what I'm going to do at the end and the order in which they place the order tells me I say this. Anyway, when they place the order, they're able to select up to 3 colors, and the order that they select them tells me what order they need to go into the cup. And so I misread it, and the black should have been the first color. It'll work out in the end. I'm not worried about it. But at this point, we need to drop this into the vacuum chamber. Now, with some luck, I can get this camera over someplace where you can actually see the vacuum happen. Okay. Make sure we're all centered up. Yep. Close our valves correctly. All right, so what we're doing is, I was really mixing that silicone together real well, and in doing so, I mixed a bunch of air into it. And what we're doing now is pulling all that air out of the silicone. All right, so we'll let those last few bubbles pop. All right, close that valve, open that valve. Now we have our nice degassed silicone. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the red to the black. I want to be fairly gentle with this, just because I don't want to introduce any new air into the mix. There we go. All right, so we have our silicones together. We have our mold. I need to turn this just a little bit. I'm going to bring the camera around here, make it a little bit easier to see. And we're going to go straight down the middle here. I'm going to fill this up a little bit more here. There we go. All right. That is nice. See that red and black marbling? Very nice. All right. And I'm just putting a little design on the base here. I think that came out pretty good. All right, so back this off a little bit. That was for order number 599. Now then, one little thing, and I mean, it doesn't really matter to you guys, but it's one thing I do. So I'm going to set this to the back here to let it cure, but I always keep my cups with the silicone or with the mold. And that way, so like right here, I've got mold, I've got my silicone cups and everything. If something goes wrong, I can troubleshoot back to, was it a problem with my mix, or was it not enough mold release, or maybe I need a little bit more mold release, things like that. Because the way that it cures in the cups versus the way it cures in the mold gives me a break point that I can troubleshoot from. Anyway, not that that matters to you, but it's important to me. Okay, so that was order 599. We've got one more here. Do. Again, if you got any questions about the process or why I do things the way I do, just drop them in the chat. I'll be happy to answer them. All right, so this is order number 247. Again, it's the last three digits. So if the last three digits of your order number is 247, then this one is for you. Now this is going to be a Dorian Gray Gibbous in A10. Okay, so I've got my mold here, and we'll just move my little sign off to the back there. All right, so I got my mold. And just give it a look over, make sure that there's nothing wrong with the mold. Looks good. Okay. We're going to get a little mold release in there. Okay. And then while we're doing our silicone, that'll give us time to, or that'll give the mold time to dry. All right, so this is a Dorian Gray. So this is a two-color pour again. It's going to be a little bit different. It's very similar to the one we just did. But this one we're going to be using silver and red. And the proportions are going to be a little bit different. The last one I did a 50-50 between the two different colors. This one is actually going to be a 2/3, 1/3. By doing that, I can control, by varying the proportions of the colors, I can control where the transition point is between one color and the next. So that's what I'm going to do on this one. All right, let me get my silicone together. All right, so we got part A and part B together. Oops. Okay, so I got part A and part B together here. And I just want to mix these together, make sure that I got good combination between the two parts here. Try to scrape the bottom, the sides. I want it all nicely mixed. Oops, sorry, didn't realize I was off camera there. Okay. I'm going to separate these real quick. All right, so I got like two different sections of silicone here. Now, I want the base to be silver. So I want this one to be silver here. This is a really pretty silver too. It just looks like molten metal. So pretty. We scrape everything down. Okay. Now I want my red. All right, I'm getting ready to drop these into the vacuum chamber, which is always a good time to answer questions. So if you've got any, drop them in the chat. All right, let's see if we can get this back over here. All right. We got a question. See if I can read this real quick. I can't scroll. All right. Does the order of pours into the mold affect the placement of the colors for the finished product, or does it generally mix? Yes, it does have an impact. The order in which they are in the cup, and I'll just use so there's some interesting things about this, which is that what the lowest ones here are going to be the last ones to come out. The top ones are going to be the first ones to come out. But interestingly, if I pour this direction, the colors that are back here are actually going to pour over the colors that are in front of it. So there's a bit of planning that has to be done to make sure that the colors go where I want them to go. There's going to be a little bit of mixing, but the silicone is so viscous that it really doesn't mix very much. So you get just a little bit of blending at the borders between them. But, if you saw this one, I'll pull this one back out. We still got good definition between the black and the red. It didn't just turn into kind of a muddy brown. I don't know if you can see that very well. There you go. But we got good definition between the black and the red. So there is a little bit of mixing, like you can see right down in the center of it, where I did the last little bit of swirl. We got a bit more mixing, but in general, they stay pretty separate. But yes, good question. The placement in the cup does have an impact on how it ends up in the mold. All right, I gotta get my gloves back on. I had to swap out my gloves for a minute there. It's a little bit messy, so I didn't want to move any of the colors from one batch to another. So, anywho, all right. So, like for this one, we got the silver and then the red, and I want to put the red on top of the silver. Grab a. But I'm also going to cheat it to one side just a little bit, because the way I want this to work is I want there to be a little bit more concentration of the red towards the tip rather than the base. I still want some of the red to come to the base, but I don't want all of it to be spread all throughout the casting. So there we go. Let me move the camera a bit here. All right, this is going to be for order number 247. We're just going to go straight down the middle as much as we can. Also, the proportions of one color to the other. In this case, I did a 2-to-1 because I want the majority of the red to be at the tip. And you can see we're still getting some red down here at the base, but just a hint of it. I got a little extra here, so I'm going to pour this into a squishy mold real quick. Okay. I don't know. Can you see those? Those are actually footprints and teddy bears. There's a new mold I picked up. So I'll be curious to see how they come out. We'll get that out of the way. Now the last step is to sign my artwork, so to speak. All right. And as you can tell, we still got a little bit of that red coming through at the base, but because there's so little, that tells me that most of it is going to be down towards the tip. So, okay. Now then, let's set this off to the side. And that was for order number 247. Whew. Okay. Now I've got two more I'm going to do, but these are going to be very different. Those were marbled pours. The next two I'm going to do are stripes. So those take a little bit different approach. But we can do this. Clean up my mess here. All right. Okay, let's see. That was 247. And now this is going to be for number 855. Okay. What we got going on here? Oh, my watch is telling me I'm hot. I've always thought so. My girlfriend thinks I am too. But this is a little bit of a workout. The silicone itself is real thick, so it takes a little bit of muscle to get the mix right. Get them good and mixed. All right, so now I need to make sure I've got a couple of extra cups here. So now this is going to be pink, white, and blue stripes. And the stripes are actually going to run the entire length of the toy. So it takes a little bit different process to make sure that the colors sit the way that I want them to. Okay. Whew. All right, I need to take a break for a breath real quick. Oh boy. Okay. So let's see. Now these are going to be different firmnesses also. So we got another gibbolus, which is going to be in a 0050. So I need my mold, and I need 2 cups. And yes, I do have multiple molds of each of my different models. So that way I don't get stuck waiting on a mold to come open. Okay, so I need to take a second and plan this out. So I need to get all my silicone together Then I need to segment into the 3 colors. And I need these 3 colors. I need this white, this pink, and then this blue. The white needs to go into the main cup. The blue and the pink need to go into separate side cups. Come together side by side. Okay. All right. Sometimes I have to take a second and just remind myself of the process that I need to go through. All right, let me get my silicone together. I'll be right back. Okay. So, as usual, now I might do mine a little bit differently than some folks because I silicone together at once. That way I know that it all cures at exactly the same time. Because if I mix this one and then mix this one, and this one would cure before the last one was fully cured. So this way I can make sure that all of my silicone cures at exactly the same time and in exactly the same way. Because you can get some variation from batch to batch. And it's a lot easier to measure out bigger proportions than it is smaller. Okay. There's the first one. And there's the second one. Okay. So like I said, we want white in the middle. So white is actually going to give us a little definition between our pink and our blue. Now I'm a bit on the clock here because once the silicone starts to mix, that's when the clock starts ticking. And I've got a limited amount of time before the silicone starts to set up. Okay. And now, give this a good mix. It doesn't take much of this pink. That was 5 drops of that pink. And that gives us a real vibrant, slightly translucent pink. Now, the trick is on this one, say the trick, but one of the tricks on this one is I add just a little bit of white to that pink. And that gives it some nice opacity, as well as desaturating that color just enough. There we go. Nice. Okay. And now we need our blue. in here a little closer. You can see this blue is also real intense. And it's not a perfect match for that pink, so once again, we're going to dive into our white. We're going to add just a little bit, just a tiny little bit. Okay. Almost there. I want it to be just a little bit lighter. Okay. Now we're getting more into that kind of baby blue. Yeah. That becomes a nice mix against this pink. Yeah, I might brighten up that pink just a touch. I'm just going to add one drop. There we go. Okay. I'm pretty satisfied with that. All right, now these need to go into the vacuum chamber. Oops, bumped the camera. And again, if you got any questions, drop them in the chat. When the vacuum chamber is going, it's a good time for me to answer questions. Let's see if I can get this down here. If we can see what's going on. That pink. Okay. Valves are all set. And if you watch that pink, I hope you can see it, but you'll see it start to bubble and it'll expand, and then you'll see it collapse. And that's when we know we've gotten almost all the air out of it. And we're just pulling out the last little bits. Another good question. Sorry, I was watching to make sure everything was going right. Get everything in position. Let's see. We have a question. Is silicone like paint with a quick set time but a much longer cure time? Yes, but not quite as bad. I'll bring this back around here while that finishes up. And, you know, I've got about 15 minutes from the time that, it varies a little bit, but anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes to get the silicone into the mold from the time that the two parts of silicone touch. So, you know, as soon as I come back over here and I start mixing, that's when the clock is ticking. And it's about, it varies depending on the firmness, but it's about an hour to 2 hours to cure. So, it's about 15 minutes to set up, and then the final cure happens in about an hour to hour and a half after that. So usually it's about an hour 15 to 2 hours. All right. Now, like I said, this one's a little bit different because this is going to be a side-by-side stripes pour. So I'm going to do my white, and I'm going to add my blue and my pink off to one side. I hope you can see this. I'm kind of trying to stay on the clock here. All right. So I'm going to bring the camera over here a bit. Get the mold ready. A little bit more vinegar. Okay. There we go. You can see we get a nice side-by-side pour. All right. So, as you can see, with a little bit of planning, we can do some really interesting stuff. All right. And we got it done under the clock. Okay. So again, I'll set that to the back along with the cups. All right, now that was the first of two for order number 855. So we got one more to make for them. Refill my water bottle real quick. While I'm doing that, you got any questions? Drop them in the chat, and I will answer them if I can. Okay. So now this one is going to be very similar to the last one. It is a strupula this time, and going to be in 0030. I don't know if I mentioned it. The last was in 0050. This is going to be a 0030, so this one's going to be pretty squishy. And actually, do you know what the difference is on the firmness scales? Let me know in the chat, because I can go into it. Get our cups together once again. All of it here, pink, blue, into the white. Cool. Okay. All right, so I already made a mistake. So I do a blend of silicones. I use a couple of different silicones together, different firmnesses to create the firmness that I want. And I did my proportions backwards. So this one, we're gonna just do one by the seat of our pants real quick. I think what I'm going to do with this one is a Metropole. No, I'm going to do get my mold ready real quick. This is a little bit different model. This is one that hasn't been released yet. It's a little bit different. You can kind of see the shaft of it is actually shaped like a pentagon, but it has a couple of ridges towards the head and a fairly narrow head. But here's what I need to do. I need to get this going. We're going to do a quick improvisation here. I'm going to do one's a little bit different. All right, so this is going to be purple. and teal. And black. And hopefully I made enough silicone to finish out that mold. I don't have a weight on this mold, so I don't know for sure how it's going to come out. I'm a little scared. All right, and then the black. I guess a little explanation of the different firmness scales. Okay. So for silicone toys, basically there are two firmness scales. There's the Shore A series and then there's the Shore 00 series. Generally speaking, and there is some overlap in the two scales, but generally speaking, the A series is going to be firmer than the 00 series. So if you see something that says it's a whatever, it's almost definitely going to be firmer than a 00 whatever. Now within that range, so you got a Shore A series. Within that series, they go from 0 to 75, 80, something like that. And smaller numbers are going to be softer than bigger numbers. So within a range of the series A, you have, say, A10 versus A25. A10 is going to be softer than the A25. If you have a 0030 and you have a 0050, the 0030 is going to be softer than the 0050. All right, let me get these into the vacuum chamber real quick. Now, like I said, there is a crossover point, and I don't know exactly where it is, but a A0 might be the same as a 0070 or 0060. Like I said, you've got two different ranges, like A series and 00 series, and there's this overlap here. I don't know exactly where the crossover point is. Usually it'll be defined by the firmer. Let's see if I can get this in a spot. All right, so while that pulls out the last few bubbles, we'll reset. All right, this is our mold we're going to use. Hope I got enough silicone. All right, so we got our purple. We're going to do the black on top of that. And our teal is going to go on top of the black. There's that purple. I think I got lucky. Perfect. Okay. Sorry, I had to go get the excess off into the squishy mold. I can tell it's starting to set up just slightly. You can feel it getting just a little bit thicker. Yeah, I knew. It's actually the same volume as my strupula. Yeah, way to look at the bright side of things, right? Oh well, this will go into the inventory, and I mean it's pretty, so I don't think it'll have a problem selling. But it did throw me for a loop there, trying to get everything rearranged at the last moment there. All right, so let's get that back out of the way. All right, now we're going to reset and finish order number 855. Hopefully I can do it right this time. Okay. All right, I got my proportions right this time. All right, let's section this off. Okay, and once again, we need white for our base. I say base. It's the base of the cup. Now we need our pink. Ooh, you want to see something fun? This pink is also blacklight reactive. Lights off. You can see just how much that glows. There's the bottle. It just glows in the black light. And if you look back there, you can see the pink glows on that one we just did a little bit ago. But there we go. Anyway, just something fun, something different. All right, so get just a little bit of white in there. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Now we're going to get our blue going. So a little bit of blue. Get that mixed in very nicely. Then we'll desaturate that with just a little bit of white. There we go. All right. Now, don't let anybody tell you that dildo making is not an art form. There's color theory, there's chemistry. Yes, it's a fun job, but it's still a job. See if we can get that back down in there. Hey, Pureness, happy to help. Yeah, I did do a post on Reddit and answered a bunch of questions as well. Ooh, another good question about temperature and humidity. Humidity has no impact. Pure silicone has its own catalyst. It's not a condensation cure, it's a catalyst cured silicone. So humidity has no effect on it. It's not like silicone caulking, which is a condensation cure. It actually pulls humidity out of the air in order to cure. Platinum pure silicone actually uses platinum as a catalyst for the curing process. So humidity has no impact. Temperature, on the other hand, does. If you get down below about 60, 64 degrees, either it'll cure really slow or it won't cure at all. If you get up over about 76 to 80 degrees, it'll cure a lot faster. And I actually use that to my advantage sometimes. Like I have what I call a hot pot, but basically it's a crock pot that runs about 180 to 200 degrees. And after these are 90% cured, I can take them out of the mold and then I'll drop them into the hot pot. And then at 180, 200 degrees, it's going to flash cure the rest of it. The other nice thing about that is that at 180 to 200 degrees, you're going to kill off all the wee beasties, quote unquote, air quotes, wee beasties as we call them. You know, molds, bacterias, all the various things that could be a problem. They go into the hot pot. They get basically sanitized. I won't say sterilized because you got to get up over. Geez, I've forgotten now. But we can at least sanitize up to kill off 99% of anything that could be on there. But you may have noticed I use alcohol to keep my area clean. All my cups are cleaned with alcohol before we do anything. So, you know, we keep it as sanitary as possible in here. And we actually have a separate room just for casting silicone that has its own ventilation. You know, we really work to just do everything as right as we possibly can. Get my mold back in place. Get my pigments out of the way. All right, so we've got our white. I'm going to put this pink off to one side. Okay. You can see that pink kind of spread across the top there. We've got just a little bit of room of that white over there on that side. But just enough room to get that blue in there. And we're going to push that pink back across. Go. And, you know, it's not perfect side by side, but it will work itself out as we do the pour. All right. And that is the balance of order number 855. Finally, I messed up. I only messed up one today, but yeah. Anyway, that's what happens. All right, and with that, I am about done. Unless you have any other questions for me, let me know in the chat. I will get to them. I would be remiss if I never mentioned that we have a website where you can order all of our goodies. That is www.amavidi.com. That's AMAVIDI.com. Or if you prefer Etsy, we can do amavidi.etsy.com. And since we've been going for a while here, we've been going about an hour and a half. Let's check that first one. Nope. Nope. Those are still not done yet. Now, like I said, I always keep the cups next to the molds. And that also is another way for me to check to see if the piece is actually cured or not. That way I don't have to take the risk of, trying to pull it out of the mold and it's not actually fully cured. So, yeah. But I don't have anything that's ready to get pulled out of the mold yet. I might do, let's see, what time is it? 3:30? I might jump on and do another live stream a little bit later, about 5 o'clock, so an hour and a half from now, and do some demolds so you can actually see what these look like after they've been cured. So with that, I am out of here. Bye.